What is up, everybody? Skylar the Dungeonologist here on that ADHD&D grind. Today we're going to talk about what I do before the game on game day to prepare myself mentally and prepping the material for the game itself. If I seem more energetic than usual, it's because I'm on an upswing, so I'm going to use it while I've got it. This game day series is going to have 3 parts. One for getting ready to play, that's this one. One for actually playing, and one to wrap up and get ready for next time. And if it works the way I think it's going to, then it's going to be kind of a loop procedure. They're going to fit together Ouroboros-like. It's something I've been really excited about for a long time, so I'm just going to dive right in. I'm running some Skype D&D today, hooray for quarantine, and in a perfect world that means I've got all the maps, monster stats, NPCs, and all that stuff ready to go, but we live in a far from perfect world, so I've got some scrambling to do. On any given game day, my to-do list can be as simple as organize what you've already prepared, or as apocalyptic as, oh god, where did the time go? Let's craft a whole session from scratch in 2 hours. Today is somewhere in between, so it's a pretty good sample of my typical procedures. I divide game prep into 2 different groups. Boring stuff and not boring stuff. I love running D&D, so I get some amount of joy out of everything involved, but I do have ADHD, which means I'm like Bradley Cooper in Limitless when something has my interest, and I'm like a sleepy house cat when something bores me. There are some tasks adjacent to prepping the game that I could do forever, like making character theme songs, or creating new magic items, or writing expository prose, but none of that means anything if I don't do the boring stuff. My solution for that is I leave the boring stuff structured, and I make lists and schedules, and I set intentions. I'm going to build an encounter for my 5th level party where all 6 of them are spellcasters, and I'm going to make it interesting and engaging. After it's done, I get some unstructured, not boring stuff time. If I eat the carrot before the stick is even up, listen y'all, it's a sabotage. I also do the boring stuff with the not boring stuff in mind. It's easier to record monster stats and balance an encounter if I'm also thinking about what song would that encounter have, or what character moment can I create with one of the PCs. The hardest lesson I've learned as a creative, and one I relearn with every new endeavor, is that if I'm not doing what I love to do in a way that I love to do it, that I'm probably going to fail. It might not look like failure to you, to other people, but if I've done the thing and I'm not creatively satisfied, I've just spent so much of myself and gotten nothing back. I might as well have been doing taxes for a week. This process is something I want to touch on in another video about transforming ADHD from a hindrance to a superpower. Stay tuned for that. Even writing the script for this video, I'm driven forward by the not boring stuff I can add in later, like music and editing. So here's how I'm setting myself up for success today. I'm going to list my tasks in order of how crucial they are. I'm going to arbitrarily decide how much time they should take, so I limit the energy I spend on them. And I'm going to pepper them with not boring stuff so I can engage with the tasks in a meaningful way. Let's go. Holding myself accountable to this stage is tricky. I'm an expert negotiator when it comes to putting things off or rationalizing them away. I always try to tell someone what I intend to do and when I intend to do it. My friends and family know by now that this is a tool that I use for accountability, so that when my dad gets a text at 7 a.m. saying, I'm going to stat out one of the altered mages today and write some dialogue, he doesn't think I've gone insane. If there's no one in your life you're comfortable texting like that, tell me. You can comment on this video or tweet at me and set your intention. I'll be happy to listen. I might not respond, but this is a safe place. Now that the game is ready to play, I need to make sure that I'm ready to run it. When we get excited, when we get invested in something and our creative synapses are firing off a million a minute, certain things fall by the wayside. For me, it's like eating, hydrating, resting, hygiene, processing emotions, and without those things, you're not a person. And I need to make sure I'm a whole person before the game starts. Meditation helps me a lot. I use Headspace. They didn't pay me anything to say that. I'm actually giving them money every month, but hey, Headspace people, if you're listening, I'm your Huckleberry. I'm going to do my affirmations on camera. If you want to join in, they're only going to take a minute. If you want to skip it, I would never know unless you told me, and that would be kind of mean. I start with deep breaths, in as deep as I can, holding for 4 seconds, and breathing out for 6. and then I state my intentions and my truths of the day. Today, I know that everyone at the table is here for the same reason, and everyone is bringing their baggage and their stress and their distractions, and this is a stressful time, but we're also all here to play the game. I'm not the only person who keeps the game running. It's a weight we're all lifting together, and my passion for the game in general and for this game is not a weakness, and if I fail, I will learn what I can from it. I will keep my eyes open for opportunities to create satisfying drama in the game. I will be a good listener, and I'll take notes. Running the game doesn't mean I need to be the center of attention all the time. I will reward players for being creative and invested, even if it isn't what I expected it to be. Some people are averse to saying these kinds of things out loud. It can feel silly or ineffective, but at the end of the day, your inner voices follow the patterns that you set, whether you mean to or not. So let's try to set some good patterns. I like journaling about my expectations, what I hope to learn, and what I want to keep in mind while playing. I'll share a bit of that with you. I apologize for my handwriting. Usually when I write by hand, it's for an audience of one. I write by hand because it helps me remember things, and I use pencils because I think they're rad and I love sharpening them. I'll probably make a whole video about D&D bullet journaling if people show interest in that topic. I think it's the most important method of organization that I use. If we were playing in person, I would pack my bag, and that's the step that screws me over the most, forgetting like a binder or a miniature or a prop and then fishing for it for a few minutes in the bag mid-game and coming up empty-handed and wasting everyone's time and killing what might otherwise be a really cool dramatic moment. Since we're playing over Skype, I'm going to reframe that task into making sure my desk and computer are ready. Luckily, my gameplay setup and my recording setup are pretty similar, so I don't have to do much on the tech side. Even when I'm playing virtually, I prefer to have all the rules and stat blocks I need on physical paper so that my monitor is an isolated space reserved solely for how I interact with the players. I make sure my dice are ready and that I have a place to roll them. If there's an encounter that might be triggered at any point during the session, I want to keep it very close. Any dungeon maps I need, I would normally pin or tape to my Dungeon Master screen. I'm not using a screen this time, so I'm just going to keep them out and organized. I use index cards and sticky notes for everything, so I want to make sure that those are going to be on hand but not in the way. And it's going to be a long session, and I'm socially starved, and I've got to keep something nearby to remind me not to just goof off with my friends the whole time. Today it's going to be a sticky note that says, "Run the game," and I'll put it right on the monitor. I've got cough drops, since I'm going to be talking a lot, and enough water to keep me from wilting mid-game. Once this whole social distancing thing has run its course, I'll show you how I pack my bag on game night. And with all that done, now I get to do the not boring stuff. So I will see you in part 2 of game day, where you'll see what I do to stay on track when we're all actually sitting around the table killing monsters. And until then, shine on, you crazy diamond.